Hi, darling.
Hello.
Smile at me. I love you. I love you, baby.
I'm still thinking if I know you.
Jesus Christ of Nazareth.
But you
Hey,
can say that, yeah. If you
people
see, I was a
of
bit
God,
shy,
people of God, hear this. So
muted.
she's still thinking about whether she loves me or not.
Almost 6 years.
Jesus Christ. It is well. Smile.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to Make It Plain with Uche plus Kachi. It's your
Yes.
favorite Uche
My
here.
favorite girl and her accomplice.
It's your favorite
Your
duo
favorite duo
here.
here. Yes,
I
we're
know.
so blessed to come your way once again. And just
Yes,
let me
yes.
just get real comfortable.
Very comfortable.
Sitting next to a beautiful damsel, it's always a privilege to have this girl beside me, doing
I'm
life,
beside you for life.
doing life together with this babe.
Together,
You
yes.
know. We're so blessed to have you guys, and if you're new on this channel, welcome to our subscribers and our family who followed us from the beginning and maybe even joined us for the first time last week. This is our welcome to you,
Yes.
for being loyal fans. of
We
this
love
brand.
you guys. Thank you so
for
much.
promoting. Thank you for sharing, for commenting, for liking, for subscribing to the channel. Your comments and everything from the last video. Whoa, a lot.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so today we shared with you how we met, and that was actually when I was actually reviewing it. I mean, I couldn't miss the gist, though. I had to listen to the full thing. I was like, this gist is too hot.
Yeah.
Even though it's our story, it was really, really interesting reliving the whole experience
Yes, it
again.
was.
And so we're going forward from that.
But before you go on, did you guys catch that I was shy? Like I was reliving those moments, and for me, they were.
You were so quiet.
I was muted. I was quiet. I was, just reliving everything, and especially because it was really.
You really
So
were
today's
quiet.
conversation is a follow up.
Follow it from that.
From last week.
He said something very profound, very critical that we felt we needed to follow up on, and it's a major part of our story.
Yes.
It's quite significant in our story. He said that we're very similar, so lots of similarities, so many things different,
yet so
many
common.
things common.
Yeah, so many things different, yet so many things common. So that's why today's episode is titled Different Yet Similar. Just as a background, as a basis, when people come together, when two people meet, guy and girl and all that, they're coming from different backgrounds, different families. So nature plus nurture, very different, so your upbringing, your experiences through life and everything that has made you the person that you are, it's all different. But it's in the finding common ground with the other person who you're meeting. That's the only way that you can have a union. So that union is important. So however different your background is, because no two people have the same background.
No, well, except you're in the same family.
Yeah.
But if you're in different families,
you don't have the same background. Even when you're in the same family, you can even be very different. Your experiences in that family very different, and so you have that, and it's in the bringing together of the commonalities that you're able to have a union. So there have to be things that you're united on. And so for me, I'll start off by talking about my background, my story. My story, and I think it's important, especially because it plays a very vital role in relationships. I come from a more humble background than my wife. I said before that my wife is popular, and she's but then the truth is that her dad is, globally known, of course, not as humble a background like mine, and everything. And for me, growing up, my dad, my mom, I give kudos to them. I thank them every day for the kind of upbringing that we had, the education, the legacy of education, the legacy of the Word of God that, they gave us. And so we never went on the vacations like that, had all those days. In fact, the truth is also, even birthdays, we never really celebrated birthdays.
Yeah,
like
I found that quite strange.
Never really celebrated birthdays.
Yes.
The major birthday I remember one time we had whilst we were living in Ibadan was, it was like a joint party.
Everybody together. When he told me, I was like...
It was like a joint party that we had, and, in our early teens, I was in my early teens at the time, and I'm the second of 5 boys, if you don't know. So we're 5 boys. My mom had 5. My parents had five sons, or have 5 sons. Have 5 sons, and I'm the second. I have an elder brother and 3 younger. And we never, so all of those things were not there. So, but they gave us the best that they could. They gave us what was essential for us. But one thing also, especially as I grew older, was I was always confident in myself. I've never been one that looked to other people or felt intimidated by what other people had, or covetous and wanting to have what they have, or all of that. And always being confident about where it was or where it is that I'm going as a person. And so that helped me. So even if I didn't have money, and as much as I had educationally and academically, I did so well and blazed through school and the rest of it, it seemed like I had a separate journey. A journey that was
a Joseph journey.
A Joseph journey, like my wife would call it. It seemed like I had...
No, you actually said that, and it made a lot of sense in terms of how how your unique journey has been, how your story has been. It's so true. He has had a Joseph journey.
I've had a Joseph journey, apart from the part where his brothers threw him into the pit. So and they also sold him into slavery. But all of that, I remember different things really. If we started going back back into it all, we probably would be here for another 1 hour, and it wouldn't do you any good. But then through it all, worked at jobs that I put in my best, and it never really seemed like I was always getting my worth. And so of course that affected my economic base. It affected how much money I had in my bank account, affected how much money I could splurge on, or things I could afford at different times. But you would never know simply by looking at me. I never wore my issues or those challenges. I never wore those challenges on my face. You never know. My dad always said something. He said, no one should look at you and guess the amount of money you have in your bank account. So always let your appearance be such that it never truly portrays your bank account, the figures in your bank account, or the number of zeros.
So put a caveat to that in the sense that you're not saying, we're not asking anybody to go, steal or whatever, but then how you carry yourself.
Your courage, everything.
Yeah, your courage. So even if it's like a few pieces of clothing you own, that you clean it properly, you take care of it, and
take care of what you have.
Very put together, very organized, and you just carry yourself with dignity.
With dignity.
That's literally what you're saying. So you should not reflect
and so
whether you have 10,000 or you have 5,000.
You have 1 million. And so you can imagine that, and then now falling in love with a lady, who's of a higher social standing, maybe gives you a reason as to why, in the previous episode, I was cautious, and I needed to always check and be sure that my heart was right, and not for the wrong reasons. I needed to be sure I was certain in my heart. I didn't want to lead her on the wild goose chase or lead her down the black hole or be in it for the wrong reasons. And so God helped me. I needed to be sure, and that's why I sought that clarity. And maybe I took it too far, to the point where to the point where even when I was sure, I wasn't still speaking up. But God needed her to be the one to jerk me,
to prod me
and say, "My friend, what's happening here?" And all of that. And the thing is, so you meet that person, and she's of a higher social standing, and maybe you're a lady who you're loving a guy who's of a higher social standing, or you're a guy like me who's falling in love with a lady who's of a higher social standing. And I think this is the point where we talk about many times we say, I want to marry the right person. We're always looking out for the right person. But I think it should be the reverse. It's about you being the right person. Because when you are the right person, it matters. It matters not as much, or it doesn't matter so much, if you have all the funds or if you have all the money. Because like they always say, money flows after value. So if you continue being a person of value, if you're a person of value, it's a matter of time that, the money will come. And one of the things I appreciate, when we talk about different yet similar, my wife and I would, back then we would talk about different things, and we always found common ground in the values that we shared. And now she'd been all over the world. I'd never traveled out of,
I'm still going all over the world.
Yes,
but,
of course.
Yeah.
Traveled out, and I think the most I'd been to was Cotonou, Benin Republic, and some of these other nearby African countries. And but it never made me feel inferior to her or made me feel intimidated. Actually, I educated myself so much so that I knew a lot of things.
I think one of the things that my auntie said when she met Kachi was like, he's never traveled in terms of going to Europe and the US and everything. And she couldn't believe it, because when you encountered him and had his interaction with him, any sort of interaction, he had deliberately exposed himself, and I think that was very critical as well. Because it would have been, I'm not sure how it would work.
Probably wouldn't have fit properly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you also exposing yourself, being deliberate to say, I'm not going to just be
localized.
Yes, localized. I'm not going to be limited by my environment. I'm going to think wide. I'm going to dream big. I'm going to expose myself. That was so critical for me. And I really, you could not tell, I promise you. And him saying that he'd never dressed according to what was in his account, or never wore a look on his face like, oh, he doesn't have all the money in the world and stuff. You would never be able to tell. And that's something I really appreciate. He was appreciated and still appreciate. He's always been sure of himself. Kachi has always been sure, never intimidated. Because it really would have been.
It wouldn't have worked.
It wouldn't have worked if you were intimidated.
If I was intimidated by it and all that, it wouldn't have worked.
If you were insecure.
If I was insecure about, so making that leap. So it's almost like I had already made myself comfortable with that level of thinking, that when it actually came, I was not scared to I just flowed right into it.
Absolutely.
Just flowed right into it, and it was like hands in gloves, and everything just fit perfectly. I think it's important that as a person you are secure in who you are. So your bank account doesn't define you. Yes, you might not have all the funds. As a guy, you like that girl right now, you might not have all the funds to make her happy as much as you want, but as long as you're secure in who you are, you're not intimidated by what it is or by the difference in social status. I think that's the way to go. And one other thing also, one of the things I will always appreciate my wife for until tomorrow, that's why there's nothing I can't do for her. Nothing. There's nothing I can't do for my wife. There's nothing that will be too much to give. there's nothing that will be too much to give to her.
So he says this all the time, and the truth of the matter is, because I'm saying, I'm sure you're like, but honestly, he says it all the time, and it's not just because they're mere words. It's something that he truly leaves out. So when I do, because I know that it is something that he leaves out. Like the things he says, I appreciate the fact that he's always been a words guy. So if you use like a word like you always, his mind, he's always been a words guy. So I know when he's saying that, he's very deliberate about things that he says, and it's so true. Like he actually leaves it out. Like he leaves his things out. But you can go ahead.
Slightly emotional, but the truth is, my wife appreciates, for example, 50 naira. My wife she's not, and now this is not to ring a rule or put a rule around or set a rule for someone else out there who's watching this. I think it's important, like we've always said, it's important that you know who your spouse is. Mm-hmm. It's important that you understand your spouse. It's important that you understand that person that you're in a relationship with. And my wife, so back in the day, I would always go to pick her from work, and my wife she'd appreciate, I would go buy her oranges. So she used to work on, Lagos Island and stuff, and then when I go to pick her, from work, I'll go down the street. Imagine that, Marina, yeah, that whole Marina stretch. I'll go down to find those, Hausa guys that sell oranges, or find people that sell oranges, and pick her nice oranges, have them peeled, everything cleaned up before she's done from work. And the way she always received it with so much gladness of heart, like it felt like it was giving her ₦1 million or $1 million. And it wasn't so much. It probably cost me how much? Maybe 200 naira, maybe 300 naira if I'm buying a whole lot, or 500 naira max. But she always appreciated the oranges, and she would, go telling the world how awesome the oranges were. And she's not faking it. She's being real from her heart. Like, when my wife is happy, When my wife is not happy, She doesn't even pull punches. When she's happy, When she's not happy, And every, the minutest of things. And so I always, and so I knew her to that point, and I knew the things that you can't compromise on certain things. And what she loves jewelry, she loves her ring, she loves this, and that's why when it came to the time of proposing to her, I went all out. I didn't care what it was going to cost me. And some people say, oh no, you can always change the ring, but I believe that love is a verb. Yes, it might not be, so you might say, oh, I don't have it right now and I cannot afford to do this right now, and I will do it. But I'm also one who appreciates sacrifice and makes sacrifice as a reward as a reward for sacrifice. I don't know if that makes sense to you. I'm willing to sacrifice something to prove or to show you that I appreciate your sacrifice. And so when it came down to her ring, so she's not going to put on, jewelry that, she doesn't love or anything. And so it was a point of duty for me to say, you know what, I don't mind what it's going to cost me. I need to get her a ring that she would appreciate and she will wear with joy. Wear with joy, and not say, okay, don't worry, since you like oranges now, 200 naira oranges, and why you looking for a ring that's going to cost so much, and you should be okay with that. No. So the fact that your spouse, or the fact that the person you're in a relationship with likes something, or is not demanding, because my wife is not demanding, and he or she understands and stuff, don't mean that you begin to take them for granted, because it's a very thin line. It's a very, very thin line. Very easily you can slip into that mode and say, what's your problem? But this is okay for you, so why shouldn't this be okay for you? And that just starts the whole crack.
And the way you went about it, I mean, if you had a million, you will spend the million.
Yeah.
So if it was like, he had like a ton of money in his account, he would. So even with all of that, like the little things, even with the little that he had, little things, even with the little that he had, and that's the thing, we're very open about our finances. We're very, very open about it. We don't even kid ourselves. It's one of the things that we're going to talk about. We're very open about our finances. So I know exactly his financial state. He knows exactly my financial state. Even with the little he had at the time, he would prioritize me, right? And I think that's so key. So even if someone doesn't have all the money, how are they prioritizing you with the little?
How are they showing that they love you, even with the meager resources that they have?
Because it would then show, as God blesses, as you keep making progress, it then tells a story of how you will be treated. And then I know some people, sometimes it's like some people change midway. I don't know, like it seems like people, you can't fully trust, they change midway, or stuff happens. I don't know. I just know that I married somebody that Jesus truly lives in his heart. It's not a case of he's just a Christian, but Jesus truly lives in his heart, and he's led of the Spirit. So if he's changing to be better. He's changing to be. That's the only change that's gonna happen. Not change to worse,
than I was,
but change to better. And I don't expect anything. I don't expect worse. I'm not living in fear of what's gonna happen. Or what if he stops? No, I'm expecting good. And that's,
and it goes both ways. Better. It goes both ways. So, in how she treats me, and how she values me, and how she respects me, and how I respect her, and how we love each other.
Yeah.
So it's in the little things. It's in how important and how they cherish those things that are important to you.
Yeah.
So you can imagine different backgrounds.
Yeah.
Yet the similarities in the values gave us the opportunity to have the union.
The similarities in the values.
Yeah.
So
the similarities in the values.
The similarities in the values
gave us the opportunity to have a union. And I would say,
it's because of these values that you were not intimidated.
Yes.
You were when I tell you that he is so assured, I should probably tell the story. So we, in our group, at the time, we were doing like a potluck type thing. We were bringing different things and all of that.
We're gonna have a meeting,
So everybody's bringing different things. People were bringing cookies and all of that. I now called him. He was the leader. We were not dating at the time or nothing. But I now called him. I said, you have to bring chicken, bring KFC. And it was my own. I wanted chicken. I was like, you bring KFC. And it was later on that I found out that literally that was the last money he had. And he still brought the KFC. And no one in the meeting could tell that was all he had. Nobody. He never wore his problems on his face. I mean, he was too assured. He's still very assured. It's even me said that. I'm like, this one, that one. He is so assured. So assured. I truly love that, because I don't think it would have worked if you were intimidated or you were worried or something. You've always been so sure. God has
helped me, really.
And this is not to say that people should settle or I mean, by all means, please, if you have
money is important.
Yes, it's very critical to a relationship. Critical. Very critical, and we're very open.
Yeah.
Very, very open. Oh, you have this today. This is what I have. We're very open about that. We trust each other that much. We know that we both have each other's interests at heart.
I remember that this story she just told now. I remember the day I literally walked down to the KFC store and bought it, and like, okay, my team wants it and I'm going to give it, and
like I had the car, you didn't have it. Like,
imagine. So
that's very practical.
We were getting married. I didn't have a car. I had never bought a car, and then she had a car, and she told me even she got a new car, and I was even celebrating her. I said, awesome, I'm so glad for you.
I'm not being fake about it.
And I'm not being fake about it. Like, and she never says to me, oh, don't do this, don't drive my car, that's my this. No.
I wasn't, and you were not fake about it. Or you were not trying to say, "Oh, keep that thing away," or
keep
something.
it away, or let's not.
No, you drive it with all joy.
Joy in my heart.
That's so.
I'm not envious about the fact that it's my wife's car or this one or no.
Never, no. Okay, so you have to keep that aside, or
Yes.
don't bring your entitlement, or don't bring your privilege here, or don't bring your.
You hear stories about maybe a wife who is elevated at her place of work, and the husband is feeling so inferior and doesn't want to move into the place or the house or benefit from the lagis that comes with the wife's promotion or office, and you wonder what kind of mentality is that. And I think it's ego, it's some level of pride that
and
is
insecurity really.
That's speaking. Insecurity is speaking, and
honestly, there is nothing nothing comes close to really marrying someone who is secure, because even if you have $50 billion in your account, if you're not secure, it's still going to be a mess.
It's going to be a mess.
Right. There's nothing like marrying somebody who is truly secure, who truly knows who they are. It's so critical.
Yeah.
And for us, that was so important.
It was as important to our foundation as anything else. It was as important
if not,
to our foundation or to our love story and everything that we are today, as important as anything else. Because
I remember one of the times I had a trip come up and I went, and then I was telling you about the trip. I was calling you, what's happening here? You just wanted to know, what did you do? It's never a case of, why are you telling me? Okay. Feeling inferior.
Feeling
and because
bad.
I will pick up on that.
Yeah.
And I would have just been like,
okay. This one is like
do you understand? I would have picked up on that immediately.
Yeah.
So I think even with coming to talk to my dad, I think it was that
that boldness,
yes,
that's
my dad was
self-assurance.
So even if you don't have $1 billion, my dad truly, that was it for him. That who is this young man that is saying this is you're very clear, you are confident. That was it for my dad. It's just everything else is a matter of time.
We should tell you guys the story of when I met.
We will tell them the story.
Yeah, we should tell you guys the story. But we just thought
to share
this today. So as a follow up from last week, be confident about who you are. Know who you are. Like we said.
And if you have the money, please enjoy it. Spoil yourselves. It's very, very important. I want a soft life. He was saying today. Was it yesterday? He's like, you deserve a soft life.
Exactly. She does. There's nothing that is going to be too much to give my wife or to do for my wife. Nothing. As God continues to bless me, I will always, I think one of the things we do a lot is cards. We give cards and write cards. I personally write.
He writes.
I write in everyone, and so does she. She writes in every single card that she gives. So always look for cards that have empty spaces.
But really, there's nothing. Like, I'm so assured of the fact that there's nothing he will ever do that. If he has if he hits $50 billion tomorrow, I will be spoiled. I will be, I am that sure. I'm so assured of his love. So I'm not stressed out. He's not stressed out. He's very sure. I'm so grateful for that. Every step of the way, we thank God, we celebrate.
Yes.
And then we keep moving.
All right, so this is where we're going to draw the curtains on today's episode of Make It Plain with Uche plus Kachi. We trust that you've gleaned a few things. We trust that you found this valuable and it helps in your own journey. If you're single looking to be married, if you're married, and it helps also in building your relationship with your spouse. We cannot thank God enough for the privilege of being able to come your way, the access that God has given us to you. So we ask that you don't forget to like, to share.
Please share.
Yes.
Please expand the ministry.
Exactly.
Please.
Comment. I think maybe we're going to have to schedule a session where we answer people's questions.
Question and answer. That will come up.
We're going to have a session where we answer questions because we get a few questions.
Exactly.
Every now and again, and so we just use that one episode and answer all your questions. And don't forget to subscribe. All right. So follow us on Instagram. Our joint account is at uche.kachi, and she is at uche1201, and I am at Kachi as well on Instagram.
Everything will be in the comment.
Everything will be
in the description box. Sorry.
Description box. All right then.
All right.
Till we come your way again.
God bless you. God bless you. We love you.
We love you.
Bye.